Shalom, all praise to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Did a little lesson titled The 50th Anniversary of the Moonshamming. And I just want to add a few points to that. And I'm going to start at Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, and did shake kingdoms? That made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners, heaping all nations under him, right? Think he owned everything. Think God gave him the whole world. That's delusional. Okay? I also wanted to get into, there was another time that they did this whole thing trying to reach into heaven, right? Genesis 11:2. Actually, I'm going to just start at 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech, one world government. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick, and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, Go, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men had built. And the Lord said, Behold, this people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down and confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of the earth, and they left off to build the city. Changed up the language, but he didn't change up geometry or mathematics. Okay? And I think I want 2nd Ezra 15:5, just off of the top, I think. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, the famine, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Thus saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And then I'm going to jump to Genesis 6:4. There were giants in the earth in those days, and this is talking about before the flood. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men, men which were of old, men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of thoughts of his heart was evil only, and repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. You can break my heart. Okay, you can break your mama's heart. Don't break the Lord's heart. I'm going to jump back forward to Genesis 10 and 8. Genesis 10 and 8. And Cush begat Nimrod. This was after the flood. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. Okay. Back to Genesis 6 and 4. And they bare children. The same became mighty men. That was before the flood. After the flood. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. Those mighty ones. Okay. So they couldn't blow a hole in the firmament. If you look into Kathy O'Brien, again, that's Kathy O'Brien's testimony. She was a victim of satanic ritual abuse and trauma-based mind control efforts. And she said that most of the facilities where they were implementing this trauma-based mind control was the NASA facilities. And that's not surprising considering Wernher von Braun in Europe had a slave camp where they was working on his rockets. He had 60,000 slaves, and they hung 5 slaves a day at the entrance. Okay, that's that innocent blood crying, regardless of whose blood it was, crying. Okay. I'm looking at a website from the Gnostic Warrior right now. I guess GnosticWarrior.com. Okay, Freemason, Nimrod, and the Sons of Chaos. See how much of this I can get through for my SD card run out. According to the Bible, Nimrod is the son of Cush, grandson of Ham, great-grandson of Noah. The names Nimrod and Cush have dual meanings. The meanings for Nimrod are the leopard who subdues, the leopard tamer, the great hunter, and in Hebrew, spotted. He is often depicted wearing a garment of leopard and also with his arms out like this. LeBron James like to do it a lot. I mean, you can see what's going on in their ceremonies if you look at the body language. I urge everybody to go check out Children of It's Real Out Here. Brother Yahi at Children of It's Real Out Here on YouTube. He does the breakdowns of the gematria and the number breakdowns of all these ceremonies, and it's right in your face. Okay? Kabbalah, Talmud, they throwing it in your face, and they have been this whole time. In the Chaldee, chaos is said to be the pronunciation of Cush, and is also written as Kus, Khus, and is derived from Kawos, or chaos. The legend of Nimrod is found in the most early versions of the history of Freemasonry, where he was said to have been one of the fraternity's founders. As I stated above, Nimrod was the son of Cush. Cush is derived from Kawos, or chaos. The motto of the 33rd degree, and I'm going to stop right there real quick, portals. Okay, you are a portal. You are a portal. You are a temple that has a portal in it. Your body temperature, 98.6 degrees. Guess how much degrees that is in Celsius? About 33. They say that the fallen angels fell on the 33rd parallel, 33.3 degrees latitude and 33.3 degrees longitude of Mount Hermon. All right, I'm going to get back into this. And again, this is not the Bible. This is just a website called the Gnostic Warrior that has some information. The origins of Ordo ab Chao, or Order Out of Chaos, can be attributed to the Supreme Council of the Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite on February 1st, 1802. As a man named Dan Brown says in his book, The Lost Symbol, its face bore the image of a double-headed phoenix holding a banner proclaiming Ordo ab Chao, and its chest was emblazoned with the number 33, the double-headed phoenix with the number 33. The number 33 is the emblem of the highest Masonic degree. Essentially, the 33rd degree is an elite honor reserved for a small group of highly accomplished Masons. Nimrod was the grand architect of Babylon, the great builder of the city of Nineveh. Ham's firstborn son was Belus, or Bel, the mythological founder of Babylon. Bel signifies the co-founder. Bel, Baal, chief, Lord, chief. One of the supreme gods of the Chaldeo-Assyrio-Babylonian pantheon, Baal. Many references in the scripture about Baal and what was going on with Baal. Okay? The second of the triad, composed of Anu, Bel, and Ea. The Greek Belus we can easily connect with a Canaanite and Phoenician god Baal. Semitic words signifying Lord, Master, Owner, Male, Keeper, Husband. Baal's meaning in Gaelic, as in Phoenician, Lord of Heaven. Tower of Babel was said to have been erected by the descendants of Nimrod, and the descendants of Noah, listed by name, Genesis chapter 10, provides 15 names for Japheth's descendants, 30 names for Ham's, and 27 for Shem's. These figures become established as the 72 languages resulting from the confusion at Babel, although the exact listing of these languages tended to vary over time. Okay. The great Masonic author, Albert Gallatin Mackey, expands on this allegorical story and how Nimrod is one of the founders of Masonry. Okay. Manly P. Hall's teachings of all the secret Manly P. Hall's The Secret Teachings of All Ages. The Rakshasas, or men demons of Lanka, the opponents conquered by Rama in the Ramayana, are some of the latest representatives of the Atlanteans in their days. These Rakshasas correspond to the Greek Titans, the Egyptian colossal heroes. And you look at what all the planets are named. All the planets are named after these mythological gods. Mars, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Pluto. They all are a character in all of the mythology that you read when you was in English class in middle school and high school. All right. An Encyclopedia of Freemasonry and its Kindred Sciences by Albert Gallatin Mackey, page 530. In the mythical relations of the old constitutions, which make up the legend of the craft, it is spoken of as the ancient birthplace of Masonry, where Nimrod, who was its builder, was a Mason and loved well the craft, employed 60,000 Masons to build it, and gave them a charge that they should be true. And this, says the Harlinian manuscript, was the first time that any Mason had any charge of craft. That's interesting. I didn't know he had 60,000, or at least according to this fable, he had 60,000 Masons to build it, while Warner von Braun had 60,000 slaves over in the hills of Germany, wherever he was at, building these rockets. 60,000, I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot going on. That's a major labor operation. Okay? And I'm going to let that fly by the wayside real quick. And I'm going to start reading out of the Apocrypha from the book of Bel and the Dragon. Markers. Okay, on a side note, I feel like when you look at the movie stars and some of these music artists, I feel like they allow other spirits to come into them to let them operate. And it involves an invitation. And from looking over this information, I believe Nimrod was one of the first people to figure out how to let those entities, those ancient, unwarranted beings, spirits that were left to roam after the flood, figuring out how to let them into you and channel them so you can get the knowledge that they have that's not earthly, carnal knowledge, because you're not going to read the word and figure out how to transmit data across different frequencies of microwave energy to different transmitters and receivers. You're not going to learn that. You're going to learn wisdom. You're not going to learn how to break down a cell down to its cytoplasm and mitochondrion and all this other stuff is inside of a cell, but it's going to give you wisdom in this book. So that in whatever you go on endeavor into, you can have an approach involving wisdom. And you can apply your knowledge from this book to the world, and that's wisdom. Okay? And you have to delicately and tenderly care and cherish that wisdom. Don't turn your back on this wisdom. This is the treasure trove right here, all right? All right? So let's see. History of the destruction of Bel and the dragon, cut off from the end of Daniel. And King Astyages was gathered to his fathers, and Cyrus of Persia received his kingdom. And Daniel conversed with the king and was honored above all his friends. Now the Babylonians had an idol called Bel, and there were spent upon him every day 12 measures of fine flour and 40 sheep and 6 vessels of wine. And the king worshipped it and went daily to adore it. But Daniel worshipped his own God. And the king said unto him, Why dost thou not worship Bel? Who answered and said, Because I may not worship idols made with hands, but the living God, who hath created the heaven and earth, that hath sovereignty over all flesh. Then said the king unto him, Thinkest thou not that Bel is a living God? Seest thou not how much he eateth and drinketh every day? And Daniel smiled and said, O king, be not deceived, for this is but clay within and brass without, and did never eat or drink anything. So the king was wroth, and called for his priests, and said unto them, If ye tell me not who this is that devoureth these expenses, ye shall die. But if ye can certify me that Bel devoureth them, then Daniel shall die, for he hath spoken blasphemy against Bel. And Daniel said unto the king, Let it be according to thy word. Hey, sounds like a good idea, king. Let's bring it out. Now the priests of Bel were 70, beside their wives and children. And the king went with Daniel into the temple of Bel. So Bel's priest said, Lo, we go out. But thou, O king, set on the meat, and make ready the wine, and shut the door fast, and seal it with thine own signet. And tomorrow, when thou comest in, if thou findest not that Bel hath eaten up all, will we suffer death, or else Daniel, that speaketh falsely against us. And they little regarded it, for under the table they had made a privy entrance, whereby they entered in continually and consumed those things. Those greedy lion rats. All right, and we'll continue on. Verse 14. So when they were gone forth, the king set meats before Bel. Now Daniel had commanded his servants to bring ashes, and those they strewed throughout all the temple in the presence of the king alone. Then went out and shut the door and sealed it with the king's signet, and so departed. So they put some ashes all over the whole floor of the area where they had this Bel idol. Now in the night came the priests with their wives and children, as they were wont to do, and did eat and drink all. In the morning betime the king arose, and Daniel with him. And the king said, Daniel, are the seals whole? And he said, Yeah, O king, they be whole. And as soon as he opened up the door, the king looked upon the table and cried with a loud voice, Great art thou, O Bel, and with thee is no deceit at all. Then laughed Daniel, and held the king that he should not go in, and said, Behold now the pavement, and mark well those footsteps are these. So the little footprints of the pitter-patter of the little rats going in to get the meals, they was on the floor with the ashes. And the king said, I see the footsteps of men, women, and children. And then the king was angry, and took the priests with their wives and children, who showed them the privy doors where they came in, and consumed such things as were upon the table. Therefore the king slew them, and delivered Bel into Daniel's power, who destroyed him and his temple. Go ahead, Daniel. Go ahead, Daniel. And in that same place was a great dragon, which they of Babylon worshipped. And the king said unto Daniel, Wilt thou also say that this is of brass? Lo, he liveth, he eateth and drinketh. Thou canst not say that he is no living God, therefore worship him. Then Daniel said unto the king, I will worship the Lord thy God, for he is the living God. But give me leave, O king, and I shall slay this dragon without sword or staff. The king said, I give thee leave. Then Daniel took a pitch and fat and hair, and did seethe them together, and made lumps thereof. This he put in the dragon's mouth, and so the dragon burst in sunder. And Daniel said, Lo, these are the gods ye worship. When they of Babylon heard that they took great indignation and considered against the king, saying, the king is become a Jew, and he hath destroyed Bel. He hath slain the dragon, and put the priest to death. So they came to the king and said, deliver us, Daniel, or else we will destroy thee and thine house. Now when the king saw that they were pressed him sore, being constrained, he delivered Daniel unto them. Typical delusional king, idol worshiper king. Who cast him into the lion's den, where he was 6 days, and in the den there were 7 lions, and they had given them every day 2 carcasses and 2 sheep, which then were not given to them, to the intent that they might devour Daniel. Now there was in Jewry a prophet called Habakkuk, and who had made pottage, and had broken bread in a bowl, and was going into the field for to bring it into the reapers. But the angel of the Lord said unto Habakkuk, Go, carry the dinner that thou hast into Babylon unto Daniel, who is in the lion's den. And Habakkuk said, Lord, I never saw Babylon, neither do I know where the den is. Then the angel of the Lord took him by the crown, and bare him by the hair of his head, and through the vehemency of his spirit set him in Babylon over the den. And Habakkuk cried, saying, O Daniel, Daniel, take the dinner which God hath sent thee. And Daniel said, Thou hast remembered me, O God, neither hast thou forsaken them that seek thee and love thee. So Daniel arose and did eat, and the angel of the Lord set Habakkuk in his own place again immediately. Upon the 7th day the king went to bewail Daniel, and when he came to the den, he looked in, and behold, Daniel was sitting, chilling. Then cried the king with a loud voice, saying, Great art thou, O Lord God of Daniel, and there is none other beside thee. And he drew him out and cast those that were the cause of his destruction into the den, and they were devoured in a moment before his face. Maybe y'all didn't read this. Maybe y'all Masons didn't read this. Maybe y'all Masons should read Morals and Dogma. Okay? They're telling you that they're lying to you the whole time. And yeah, World War III is coming. And yeah, Albert Pike prophesied the coming world wars. Sure. But who is he dealing with? Did he prophesy that through the spirit of the Most High? Or did he prophesy that through the spirit of whatever Luciferian crap he was channeling? Okay? Una pregunta grande. All right? And this story of Bel and the dragon, I mean, come on. Who was it? Abraham's father worshiping idols, right? Abraham, I can't remember all that info. I'll say that for another time. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All praise for him taking us out of Egypt. All praise for him chastening us throughout our lineages to get right, to get back to him. So as far as outer space goes, I mean, it's not happening. All of the video games that show you outer space, it's just bogus mind washing. All the Star Wars films, How they gonna do all the Star Wars films and the moon landing? How they gonna have, like, let's for example, Destiny, when they had the commercials on TV, man, that stuff looked damn real. Talking about we gonna land on Mars. What film crew you got working on that right now? All right. Turns out all the globe Earth models, they're put together with CGI from a bunch of different pictures, and there's testimonies of that from people that work for NASA telling you this stuff. Buzz Aldrin is so full of himself, he even said we didn't go to the moon. All right, the Van Allen belts, it's the firmament. I seen a Van Allen real estate sign the other day. I had to laugh. I was like, what is that? Is that fake realty? Because the Van Allen belts is fake. And that's it, man. You ain't going to ascend above the stars. Everybody should have been humbling themselves all the way across the line. I mean, even this king that Daniel was dealing with, Astyages, Astyages, fathers and Cyrus of Persia. So Cyrus and Astyages, okay, they was all worshiping Baal. And it gets specific, and you're going to get judged for your worship of Baal. Let me just find one. I'll just find one real quick, and we'll end it with that. Okay? Nobody need to be worshiping nothing else other than the Most High God. Let's see here. Deuteronomy 4:3. Your eyes have seen what the Lord did because of Baal Peor. For the men that followed Baal Peor, the Lord thy God hath destroyed them among you. Deuteronomy 4:3. Judges 2:13. And they forsook the Lord and served Baal and Ashtaroth. They forsook the Lord and served Baal and Ashtaroth. So, my people, that's the level of deception, the great deception in the end days. Yeah, you can have many gods, right? Yeah, God's whatever you want them to be. God will conform to whatever you need. All you damn homosexuals being pastors in a damn churches with a rainbow flag, churches that's supposed to be preaching truth of this word, and you hanging the damn rainbow flag and letting all this queery, mockery of our creation go on. There's blood on your hands, all right, and stink. All right, stop defending Baal, man. To the other nations that put us in captivity, you didn't just get a green light just to do whatever you want. All this experimentation and all this weird crap. Your vaccines, your Planned Parenthood in every hood. All praise to the Most High God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Ain't nobody going to outer space, man. Many are called, few are chosen. All right, you better do what you can do. It ain't about being saved. Oh, I was saved back in 2002. And I'm good. I'm just showing love, loving my neighbor. No, you got to endure to the end. You can't be ignorant of Satan's devices. That's why he was calling us niggers. Because we was ignorant. And if they could keep us in our ignorance by spoiling our heart, keeping us from reading, and look what they do with the school system. It's all corrupted. Don't matter if you kids go to private school or public school, the curriculum is whack, upside down and whack. You're teaching everybody about the heliocentric globe model theory and the theory of gravity, like it's truth. I ain't with that, man. And I can't leave it at that. All right? Because a lot of us in America with this school situation, we are subject to this Deuteronomy 28 curse, where you will have children, but you will not be able to enjoy them because they will go into captivity. So, and all this work that we're doing all day, we don't have enough time to be deprogramming them from all of the crap that they're burning into their minds all day, in Wi-Fi fields now all day, high-powered Wi-Fi fields now all day. Some schools even got enough nerve to put a cell phone tower right up on top of their joint. Some schools got enough nerve not to have any windows. You get no sunlight? You need sunlight. You turn everybody into cave people. That's regression. All right? Thy sons and daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. You can't do nothing about it. You can't be like, all right, I'm tired of this. I'm going to take 2 weeks off work, and I'm just going to bring my kids, and we're just going to go up to the mountain. Nope. They're going, oh, we need to send all this curriculum with you. Oh, your kid's been absent for these many days. We're going to send the police to you. You're just going to homeschool them? And then look at some of the stories that's happened to some people that have been homeschooling. You know what I mean? Social services come sweeping in, give them all shots, snatch them all up, scatter them all about, separate them. It's madness, man. But when you go into the church ain't going to read the Deuteronomy curses. Lying-ass pastors, lying-ass priests. They're not going to read this. You're not going to understand you in affliction. They're going to be telling you Jesus loves everybody and everybody's saved. There's power in the name. And nobody's even using his real name. Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rawa Kadash. All right? Dang. Things are getting heavy. And I urge everybody to go check out Kathy O'Brien's testimony. And go check out Children of Israel Out Here YouTube channel. Children of Israel Out Here. The numbers don't lie. The language was confounded at the Tower of Babel, but the mathematics couldn't change, right? You can confuse everybody's language, but the numbers and the symbols, and look at how they're using numbers and symbols. Shalom. Kam Yasharallah.